They were worshipped on Sundays, celebrated as heroes, but behind closed doors, the real game was far more dangerous, and the victims never wore pads. Since the year 2000, 134 NFL players have been arrested for domestic violence. 134. That's not a few bad apples. That's a pattern. And for years, the league buried it. Super Bowl champion, community hero, one of the most beloved Ravens of his generation, dragged his unconscious fiancée out of a hotel elevator like she was luggage. And the NFL's first response was, "You are banned for 2 games." On another occasion, a man who ran a 4.29 40 was caught on audio threatening the mother of his child, saying, "You need to be terrified of me." The NFL let him keep playing. So why did the NFL keep signing them, keep paying them, keep protecting them? And who else on this list will shock you most? This isn't about one night, one mistake, or one bad decision. This is about a league that built a wall of silence around some of the most violent men in professional sports. If there is one moment that forced the NFL and the entire country to confront domestic violence in professional football, it happened inside an elevator in Atlantic City, New Jersey. February 15th, 2014. Running back Ray Rice of the Baltimore Ravens and his then-fiancée, Janae Palmer, stepped into the elevator of the Revel Casino. Seconds later, Rice knocked Palmer unconscious with a left hook. He then dragged her limp body out of the elevator and left her on the floor. Hotel security footage captured the entire thing. Now, what followed is just as important as what happened in that elevator. Because here is what the NFL knew, and when they knew it. Rice was charged with aggravated assault. The Ravens issued a statement. Rice sat beside Janae at a press conference where she apologized. She apologized for her role in the incident. The NFL suspended Ray Rice for 2 games. 2 games. At the time, a player could be suspended more games for testing positive for marijuana. Commissioner Roger Goodell defended the decision. The Ravens defended Rice. Sponsors said nothing. And the league moved on the way it always had. Then, in September 2014, everything changed. TMZ Sports obtained and published the interior elevator footage. The country watched Ray Rice punch Janae Palmer unconscious. On a loop. On every screen in America. Within 24 hours, the Ravens released Rice. The NFL suspended him indefinitely. And suddenly, Roger Goodell was facing congressional scrutiny, sponsor pressure, and a league-wide crisis. But here is the question nobody could stop asking. Had the NFL already seen that footage? A law enforcement official later told the Associated Press that the full video had been sent to NFL headquarters months earlier. The league denied it. An independent investigation led by former FBI Director Robert Mueller was commissioned and concluded the NFL had not seen the in-elevator footage before TMZ published it. Many people did not believe that conclusion. What we know for certain is this. The NFL had enough information, Rice's arrest, the charges, witness accounts, and the lobby footage showing him dragging her body, to understand what had happened. And they gave him 2 games. Janae Rice, who married Ray after the incident, stood by him publicly. She later wrote that the media coverage destroyed her more than the assault itself. That her worst day was replayed millions of times without her consent. That she felt victimized twice. Ray Rice was never reinstated. His NFL career was over. But the damage to the league's credibility had already been done. The Ray Rice case forced the NFL to adopt a new personal conduct policy. 6 games for a first domestic violence offense. Indefinite suspension for a second. Whether the league would actually enforce it, that was still to be determined. If Ray Rice was the case that broke open the conversation, Greg Hardy was the one that proved the NFL hadn't truly learned anything. Hardy was a defensive end, a ferocious pass rusher who at his peak was one of the most feared players in the league. The Cowboys called him the Kraken. In May 2014, Hardy's then-girlfriend, Nicole Holder, called police to his Charlotte, North Carolina apartment. What responding officers found was documented in their report. Holder had injuries consistent with assault. She alleged that Hardy had picked her up and thrown her onto a couch covered in assault rifles and shotguns. That he had choked her, dragged her into a bathroom, thrown her into a shower, and told her, and these are the words in the police report, that he would kill her. Hardy was convicted of assault and communicating threats in a bench trial. He was sentenced to 18 months of probation and 60 days in jail. He appealed for a jury trial, a right that exists in North Carolina. Before the jury trial could happen, Holder reached a financial settlement with Hardy and declined to cooperate further. The charges were dropped. The NFL suspended Hardy for 10 games under its new personal conduct policy. An arbitrator later reduced it to 4. Then the Dallas Cowboys signed him. Owner Jerry Jones dismissed the situation. Hardy sat on the Cowboys bench in a suit for the first few games, paid, and then he played. He was given a 1-year, $13.1 million contract. In January 2015, Deadspin published photographs taken by police the night of the assault, showing Nicole Holder's injuries, bruising across her neck and back, the visible aftermath of what had been done to her. Those photographs had been obtained through a North Carolina court filing, and when the public finally saw them, the outrage reignited. Hardy remained defiant. He gave an interview in which he said he was looking forward to making it rain, a phrase widely interpreted as a reference to the settlement. He spoke about his return to football in terms that made no reference to what had happened to Holder whatsoever. The Cowboys released him after 1 season. Hardy has not played in the NFL since. But Nicole Holder's bruised body was on the internet. Public record. Available forever. And the Cowboys had looked at those images, or decided not to look, and signed him anyway. Not every case in this video is a simple story of a player and a partner. Some are more complicated and more disturbing. Tyreek Hill's story begins before he ever played a down in the NFL. In December 2014, Hill, then a college player at Oklahoma State, was arrested after his pregnant girlfriend, Crystal Espinal, reported that he had punched her in the stomach and strangled her. He pleaded guilty to domestic assault and battery by strangulation. He was sentenced to 3 years of probation. Oklahoma State dismissed him from the program. The Kansas City Chiefs selected him in the 5th round of the 2016 NFL draft anyway. He became one of the most explosive players in the league, a Pro Bowler, a Super Bowl champion, a fan favorite with a smile that sold merchandise and a speed that sold tickets. And then in 2019, the story resurfaced and got worse. Recordings obtained by a local television station captured Hill and Espinal, now engaged, having a tense conversation about their son, who had suffered a broken arm under circumstances that were never fully explained publicly. In the recording, Espinal says to Hill, "You need to be terrified." When asked by investigators why the child should be scared of Hill, she responds, "Because he did it." The child was 3 years old. The Overland Park Police Department investigated. The Johnson County District Attorney ultimately declined to file charges, citing insufficient evidence. The NFL investigated for months. Hill was not suspended. Crystal Espinal was investigated for child abuse. Hill was given custody of the child. The league's decision not to discipline Hill was widely criticized. Critics noted that his past guilty plea, an admitted act of domestic violence, had been treated as a background detail rather than a pattern of behavior. Hill was eventually traded to the Miami Dolphins. The Chiefs cited salary cap reasons, and he has continued to play at an elite level. The full truth of what happened to that 3-year-old boy has never been publicly established. But the questions have never gone away, and they shouldn't. In February 2018, surveillance footage from a Cleveland hotel showed Kansas City Chiefs running back Kareem Hunt shoving and kicking a woman in a hallway. Hunt was 22 years old. He had rushed for over 1,200 yards in his rookie season. He was one of the most promising young players in the league. TMZ published the video in November 2018. Hunt was released by the Chiefs the same day. The video shows Hunt being restrained by teammates and friends while a woman stands nearby. He then shoves her. She falls. He kicks her while she's on the ground. What makes this case particularly notable, beyond the footage itself, is what the NFL had known before it was published. The league had been aware of the incident since it occurred. They had spoken to Hunt. They had gathered information. And for 9 months, no suspension was issued. No action was taken. Hunt continued to play. After the video became public and Hunt was released, the NFL suspended him for 8 games, games that would apply to his next team. That next team was the Cleveland Browns. The Browns signed Hunt in February 2019. The optics were staggering. They had also recently signed Odell Beckham Jr., who was available, and were building a contender. Hunt was a cheap, high-upside acquisition with a known off-field history. He served his 8-game suspension. He returned and played alongside his close friend, running back Nick Chubb. Hunt has since spoken publicly about the incident, expressing remorse and saying he sought counseling. Whether that rehabilitation is genuine is not something this video can determine. What can be determined is this: the NFL waited 9 months to act, and only acted when a video forced their hand. The pattern, see nothing, do nothing, react only when footage appears, had become the league's operating model. And the public had started to notice. Next, Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott was the 4th overall pick in the 2016 NFL Draft. A bulldozing, electric running back out of Ohio State. The Cowboys gave him a 6-year, $90 million extension. He wore jersey number 21. He had a pet rabbit named Peekaboo. And in August 2016, his former girlfriend submitted a detailed report to Columbus, Ohio police, alleging that Elliott had physically assaulted her on 5 separate occasions over a period of 4 days in July 2016. She alleged bruising on her arms, a cut on her hand, and other injuries. She provided photographs. The Columbus City Attorney's Office reviewed the case and declined to file charges, citing conflicting evidence and questions about the complainant's credibility. The NFL launched its own investigation. It took over a year. In August 2017, the league suspended Elliott for 6 games, one of the longest suspensions handed down under the personal conduct policy for a first offense involving domestic violence allegations. Elliott and the NFL Players Association fought the suspension in court for months. Multiple federal courts got involved. The suspension was ultimately upheld, and he served it in 2017. The Cowboys stood behind Elliott throughout. Jerry Jones publicly expressed doubts about the suspension and the league's process. Elliott has maintained his innocence. The criminal charges were never filed. His accusers' claims were disputed. But the league, after its own investigation, concluded there was enough evidence to warrant a 6-game suspension. That is not an exoneration. Elliott continued to play at a high level for years. He left the Cowboys after contract disputes, spent time with the Patriots and Packers, and has remained a significant figure in the league. His case is a reminder that not every story in this space comes with a clean resolution. Sometimes the allegations are serious, the evidence is contested, and the outcome is murky. What is not murky is the woman who filed that police report, who had photographs taken, who gave a statement. Whether or not charges were filed, she existed. Her experience existed. That tends to get lost in the legal and contractual proceedings. The player coming up next didn't just assault his partner. He made sure she'd never speak to anyone again. And the NFL almost missed it entirely. Jovan Belcher. On the morning of December 1st, 2012, Kansas City Chiefs linebacker Jovan Belcher shot his girlfriend, Cassandra Perkins, 9 times. Their 3-month-old daughter was in the house. He then drove to the team's practice facility, thanked his coaches and general manager for everything they had done for him, and shot himself in the head in front of them. Cassandra Perkins was 22 years old. She had brought their baby home from a concert the night before. She never saw the morning. What the public didn't fully know at the time, Belcher had a history of erratic and violent behavior, a traumatic brain injury later found during his autopsy, and had been described by those close to him as increasingly volatile in the months before the murder. The Chiefs played the following day. The game went on. What Belcher did was unthinkable. But the next man on this list didn't act in a moment of rage. He planned it, months in advance. And the reason why will leave you speechless. Ray Carruth. Ray Carruth was a first-round NFL draft pick, a wide receiver with a future, and a man who, in November 1999, hired 3 men to murder his pregnant girlfriend, Cherika Adams, because he did not want to pay child support. The shooters pulled alongside her car and fired multiple rounds. Cherika was struck 4 times. She survived long enough, barely, to call 911 from her car and describe what happened. Her account put Kareth behind bars. She died a month later, but her son, Chancellor Lee Adams, survived. Born premature after emergency surgery, he was left with permanent brain damage from the loss of oxygen. Kareth was convicted of conspiracy to commit murder and served 18 years. He was released in 2018. Chancellor, raised by Cherika's mother, learned to walk and speak. He loves the Carolina Panthers, the same team his father played for. The next player didn't fight anything, because by the time the truth came out, a journal filled with his own handwriting had already confessed everything. Josh Brown. Josh Brown was a kicker, not a name most casual fans would know. But what he did, and how the league responded, became one of the starkest examples of institutional failure in NFL history. Brown was arrested in May 2015 for allegedly grabbing his wife's wrist and leaving bruises. No charges were filed. The NFL suspended him for 1 game. Then Washington state authorities released 165 pages of documents, including Brown's own diaries and emails, in which he admitted to abusing his wife repeatedly. His own words, his own handwriting. His ex-wife Molly Brown had accused him of more than 20 instances of abuse. Brown had written about being a god and controlling her every move. The NFL claimed it had requested the documents but was denied. Police said no formal request was ever filed. The Giants placed him on leave. He was released. The NFL never explained why its initial investigation missed what was hiding in plain sight. The point is that the women in these stories were real. Their injuries were real, their fear was real, and they deserved and still deserve to be seen as clearly as the players whose names appear on the back of the jerseys. The NFL will continue to generate billions of dollars. Stars will rise and fall. Policies will be updated. Commissioners will hold press conferences. The game will go on. It always does. The only question is whether the women in these stories, and the ones whose stories were never told, will finally be remembered as more than a footnote to someone else's highlight reel. If you made it to the end of this video, subscribe. And if this kind of content matters to you, share it.